Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Hope you guys are doing well. This is our second show of the day. Earlier, we had the incredible Donnell Denigan on our show. She is the president and founder of the Hollywood Museum. So if you missed that episode, go check it out. It is available for you right here on our YouTube channel. Matter of fact, all of our episodes, we've done about 420 episodes live, just about 7 days a week, of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, where we are bringing back the lost art of conversation. Think back maybe to some of those legendary talk show hosts, of course, Johnny Carson and Dick Cavett, Steve Allen, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, Dick Clark, the legends, right? And then you sprinkle in a modern twist and a modern vibe of today, and warmth and levity, and our famous Lovity, because I said light, love, and levity too fast in the summertime, and out came Lovity, so that stuck. And you've got the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We encourage you not only to enjoy tonight's show, but you're going to be inspired by it as well. A very poignant story, a very moving and empowering story with our very special guest, Maria QUIBAN WHITESELL. She is a revered and beloved meteorologist in Los Angeles, California, for Fox LA, that is KTTV TV, channel 11 in Los Angeles. Good Day LA in the morning. She gets up early. It's like, I think she said 3:30 in the morning. So the fact that she's with us now, and it's getting late for her. It's like 5 Pacific time, 8 here on the East Coast. We really appreciate that. She's a trooper. She also has a story to tell, and we're going to talk about that. A beautiful, beautiful, inspiring and empowering book, as well as being a beloved meteorologist on Fox LA, KTTV. She is also an extraordinary author as well. And in her book, she opens up about her life and the experiences that are contained within, and just an absolutely beautiful person inside and out. You're going to get an opportunity, if you are on the West Coast in the LA area here in the United States and you're familiar with her, then you're going to love this story. If you're not, this story is going to really move you, and it's going to inspire you as well. So welcome to our show. It's always a pleasure to have all of you here. We inspire, we entertain, and we always have a good time. We always learn something new on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. For those of you who are watching for the first time, we welcome you. There's over 420 episodes that you can see of our series live. Recorded. We do them live, and then they're all saved. They're all recorded and saved and archived right there on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So we welcome you. We welcome Lovedies who are watching around the world. We have an international audience of Lovedies who watch. They're viewers who are very dedicated to the show. We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And while you're doing that, be sure and click that little bell icon that you see. The big red word that says subscribe, and then you see that bell icon. That is the bell icon, which is notifications. So whenever we do special episodes like pop-up shows and surprise episodes, on location episodes, and of course our daily 7-day-a-week live episodes of JMS Live, you'll never miss any of the episodes. So check that out. Also, drop a like on our YouTube channel if you enjoy this episode or any of the episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Drop a comment, click thumbs up. We would love that. Many of you know, who are regular followers of our series, that I do this work professionally, like Maria, in television, working in television and radio and stage and film for years as a TV and radio host and journalist and writer, producer, or actor, voiceover artist, narrator, you name it. And I've done this work for a long time, like Maria as well. So we're TV broadcast colleagues, and it's a real pleasure to have her here. I want to welcome some of the amazing viewers that we do have. They are called the Lovedies, and it's so nice to see everybody here. We actually have Chris, who is watching from Northern Ireland. We have, again, an international audience of viewers who watch this Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, and I think that's pretty cool. Hey, Jim and Lovedies. So warm there in Ireland. Well, we're going to really have a good time here on the show, and hopefully we'll cool things down for you, my friend. We also have Jane, who's tuned in from Sweden. She is one of our Lovedies as well, and we really appreciate Jane. It's late at night in Sweden, and she is with us all the time, all the time. We love her. And Kathleen Walker's here in New York City. She's here because there's no New York Mets game tonight. She works with the New York Mets, so they're not playing right now. There's crazy weather happening in the Northeast today. Lots of crazy weather lately. Hey, Jim. Hi, everyone. Good to see you again. Because again, we were just here a couple of hours ago. This is the second episode. Good to have you here. Renee Katz, who's in the Midlands of Flushing, Queens, New York. Wonderful cabaret star. Good to see you, Renee. Welcome back to the Jim Masters Show Live. Continue to spread the word. We love having you here. And Juanita is in South Africa. Hello, Jim and Lovely Squad. Pouring buckets of ice cold rain where you are there in South Africa. Well, hopefully not so much now. Maybe it's cooled down for you. Ann is watching in Jacksonville, Florida. Happy Monday, Jim and Lovely family. Hoping everyone's having a great start to this wonderful week. Yeah, I've been on the air all day today, so it's been really busy and doing what I love, which is, communicating with everybody over the airwaves. Mary Bishop is watching from Pine Island, Florida. She says, hello, Jim and lovely friends. Good to see you as well. Merlin's in Ontario, Canada. And hi again, Jim, and hi, all lovelies. Good to see you as well. And Sherry Larson is checking in. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. Good to see you, Sherry. And Cleveland, Ohio, reporting for duty as well. Good evening, Jim and lovelies. Nice to see everyone tonight. Kathy Short in Cleveland. And Maureen is here. And she was just, I believe you were in Vegas, right? Watching singer and Broadway performer John Lloyd Young. You are in hot Arizona. Oh boy, those temperatures. I'm glad that I'm not driving alone through Death Valley like I did after that TV shoot about 2 years ago. I don't think I would do that now this summer, not with that heat. Hello, Jim and my dear lovelies. I hope you had a wonderful start to your week. We're going through monsoon season here in the desert. It's going to be crazy. Trying not to choke on the dust. Well, hopefully not. Good to see everybody. Hope you guys are doing okay wherever you are, or again, watching around the world. And so many wonderful people are here. I want to welcome my very, very special guest. Again, she's a beloved television talent, a weather forecaster, meteorologist extraordinaire for the Fox affiliate in Los Angeles, California, KTTV. And she's just absolutely amazing. She does Good Day LA, the morning program, and a lot of feature stories and just so many wonderful things that she gets a chance to do. You can see her every day giving Los Angeles its daily weather forecast on Good Day LA, and she loves what she does, and the audience really, really responds to her. And when you as a talent myself, when you have a wonderful relationship with your audience, there's nothing better in the industry. That's the morning news, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and on their noon broadcast as well. Before joining Fox 11, the news team in LA, in May of 2000, Maria spent 2 years as a weather anchor for the daily 5, 6, 9, and 11 p.m. forecasts for Orange County News Channel. Before that, she was the evening meteorologist for NBC Hawaii News 8 in Honolulu, Hawaii. And she was born in the Philippines. She immigrated to Hawaii when she was 10 years old. In Honolulu, she studied journalism at the University of Hawaii. And in 2005, she earned her meteorology degree from Mississippi State University. And when she can, Maria also volunteers her time speaking to young single mothers about her own experience as a single mom. Having a baby while still in high school left her with very early responsibilities. She enjoyed sharing her experience of struggle and success in hopes of inspiring another teen mom to achieve their dreams as well. 23 years after the birth of her son, Desmond, she remarried and embarked on a new journey of being a mom for the second time. In December 2015, after an 18-month-long battle, Maria's husband, Sean, passed away from glioblastoma. Now, you've probably heard that before, and maybe you're not familiar with what it is. It's a rare brain cancer disease. And since then, she has been raising their young son, Gus, but she's now also an advocate for the Brain Cancer Awareness Campaign. And I think that is a beautiful thing. In 2020, she published her new book, You Can Do It Alone, A Widow's Journey Through Loss, Grief. You can't do it alone, that is. A widow's journey through loss, grief, and life after. You may think you can do it alone, but you really, really can't. And you need the love and support of others. So You Can't Do It Alone, A Widow's Journey Through Loss, Grief, and Life After has been so well received by so many. as Maria brings her unique life experiences and passion to help tell meaningful and memorable stories. She joins us live and direct from Los Angeles, California. We are so honored and pleased to have my fellow television colleague here. Maria, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jim, for inviting me to be part of the show and to talk about our story, of course.
Oh, it is my pleasure and an honor to have you here. As I told you when we were chatting before we went live on the air, I think it's so beautiful. You know, we're working in very difficult, demanding, unpredictable, fast-paced industries, and to experience what you've experienced, but then share it in such a glorious, open, and authentic way with others, wanting to really inspire others to realize that you can't really do it alone, and that reaching out is so important. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. And that, I think, kudos to you, because you could have decided not to share it, but you went in the other direction. And that's just a reflection of who you are as a person, Maria. A very beautiful thing to do.
Thank you. Part of the reason why I wrote the book is that when we were going through what we were going through, especially in the beginning of discovering even what brain cancer was or glioblastoma, there was very little out there for us. I felt myself searching and searching hard for information. And so I remember in the back of my mind that there needs to be more awareness for this disease so we can find a cure, but also just as a resource for people who are fighting this fight right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Glioblastoma, a lot of people don't know what it is, but it is something that does obviously attack the brain. And in this situation, were there warning signs early on that Sean was noticing changes along the way that you may have noticed and the family noticed as well?
In hindsight, we can sort of, after he was diagnosed, we
Yeah.
can kind of pinpoint a couple of times where maybe the year or 18 months before the diagnosis, we noticed a couple of things, but we just justified those things with
Yeah.
the fact that he was working a lot, was just working on a new show, or the fact that he was turning 50, and there's a lot of anxiety around that. So we thought maybe some of those things affected him in the way that it did. But in hindsight, after the fact, we think that was part of the tumors growing and kind of affecting some of his functional, his memory lapses, or just some of the anxiety that he was going through. Yes.
Tell us about him as a person. For those who never had the wonderful pleasure and honor of meeting Sean, I know a doting dad as much as a loving husband, very dedicated to his craft. Tell us a little bit more about him.
Shawnee, Sean, there's so much to say about him, starting with the fact that he was such a wise, smart, handsome, very. When the first time I met him, I was just immediately drawn to his blue eyes, and he had such a big smile and a big loud laugh that would fill a room. And so immediately we connected in that way, and he just really lit up the room when he would walk into it. He grew up with 5 brothers, so there's 6 total Whitesels, and so each one of them probably had to fight for their platform or for their moment. And
Yeah.
so I think for Sean, as number 5 on the hierarchy of the brothers, he really had to work hard, I think. And so he really had this loud, like I said, loud laugh and voice, and he was my best friend. He was so kind and generous and humble about his successes. And he grew up in Iowa Falls,
Mhm.
Iowa, and so was really part of a beautiful family and a community that were just made up of people that are really salt of the earth kind of people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and when you come across that, It's very, very beautiful. And the relationship the two of you had obviously went extremely deep. In this case, when you're dealing with that and you are in the public eye, and you are live on the air on a major television station and the second largest market in the world, uh, it can be difficult as you're dealing with that and then having to go on the air and be the Maria that everybody wants to see. I've had situations too where I've gotten a phone call that wasn't
Mhm.
pleasant, and then I had to go on the air and I had to do what I
Yeah.
had to do, and then you deal with it after. How through it were you able to cope and show up at work, do what you had to
Mhm.
do, and then sort of balance the life work scenario?
Mhm. I have to say that I am so fortunate. I was then and I am still to be able to work with some of the most wonderful people who have become really great friends of mine. And they knew what I was going through and they really tried their hardest, each one of them, from the talent on camera to the crew in the control room and behind the scenes. And they really tried their best to make me laugh and make me really focus on the day. And for a little bit, for a small part of my day, I was able to sort of leave some of the worry that I had at home, and I was able to just focus on my job. And in a way, that saved me because it gave me an outlet, and that didn't need to constantly be thinking about what I needed to do next in order to help Sean fight this fight against glioblastoma and brain cancer. And so, that, and I know you can relate to sort of just compartmentalizing. And
Yeah.
I remember coming out of my car and walking into the elevator and saying to myself, I'm putting the wife hat away, the mother hat, here. I'm going to leave you in the car right now, and I'm going to go put my meteorologist cap on and my news person hat on, and that was kind of how I did it every day, I think.
Exactly. You can sort of do that. And it's amazing when we sometimes think we aren't able to do that, but it's just sort of like a muscle memory situation. And it also, the focus on the work can help us get through dealing with the severity of what we have to deal with, which I think
Yes.
sometimes can be a blessing as well. Um,
Mhm.
Before all of that, let's talk a little bit about you and your desire to want to go into meteorology. You've been doing this for a long
Mhm.
time. You've done it for a number of different stations. What is it
Mhm.
about the weather, Maria, that really, I love the weather too. What is it
Yeah.
that excites you about the weather?
I joke about this sometimes, but there's really a lot of truth into it. When I was studying journalism and broadcast journalism in Hawaii, which is where I'm from, I realized that the weather was really the part of the newscast where we got to look forward in time. And most of the newscast was really about talking what happened before. It was a lot about the past. And so I kind of immediately took to the weather in that sense where it hasn't happened yet. And also, the rest of the news, as you know, Jim, can be very negative. And I think I discovered that my nature and my true nature was just about something that wasn't as tragic and devastating as a lot of the news can be. And so that's why I really gravitate to weather. And growing up in Hawaii, uh, we were always outside. We were always experiencing the weather. And so I think it just kind of naturally came to me. And again, grateful for my mentors in Hawaii who led me down to that path.
That is fantastic. And what brought you to Los Angeles and to Fox LA, KTTV
Mm.
11?
I know, good question, because a lot of people will say, "Why would you leave Hawaii?" I would never leave
It's usually the
Hawaii if
other
I
way
was
around,
there.
right?
Yeah, it's usually the other way around. And I was actually forecasting weather in Hawaii already. I was working for the local NBC station there and was the meteorologist in the evenings. And so here's what it is, like most families, especially Filipino families, families from Hawaii, were very close. And my parents and I, who helped me through so much, throughout my whole life, especially when it came to raising my older son Desmond and having to go through school and working. They moved to California right as I was beginning my career in television news in Hawaii. And so being again being this Asian family, Asian American family, I missed them so much, and they missed us as well. So my mom would just every day would say, "Hey, why don't you just call NBC here in LA and work and do the weather here?" And I, say to my mom, "Sure, mom, like that's so easy. I'm just going to call NBC and go from market. Hawaii at
Yeah.
that time was I think 56 or something to go to the number 2 market." And so she kept insisting, and I said, "Yeah, okay, well then I will check into it." And then one day I discovered this 24-hour news channel called OCN, the Orange County News Channel, and my mom actually gave me the information, and so I looked it up. And I called the news director there at the time, which I think the newsroom was in Santa Ana, and I said, "Hey, I'm interested in moving to Los Angeles." And he said, "Okay, go ahead, send me your tape." And so I did. And then he called me back and said, "Well, when are you coming back to LA to visit? I'd like to talk to you in person." And so, sure enough, I was actually planning a visit to my parents the following month. So I went there and met with the news director at the time, and he said, "Yeah, why don't you move to LA? And you have to promise me," he goes, "you have to promise me to fulfill your 2-year contract and you can't leave any earlier." And I just thought that was such a weird comment to make. I'm like, of
Yeah.
course, I'm excited about this job. Why would I want to leave, sooner? And then I realized why he said what he said, because as soon as I got there, I think within a few months, I was contacted by an agent, and she wanted to know how long my contract was, and quickly got me an interview with many other stations, including Fox, which is where I am right now.
Do you remember the first day, what the first day was like? Here you are now in, the second largest television market in the world, not just the United
Oh,
States. And you're on a major station that people grew
mhm.
up with, KTTV. And what was that first day like for you?
Oh gosh, I was thrilled. I was nervous,
Yeah.
and but again, I was surrounded by very supportive people, and I got to say, I was lucky, maybe. Or some people say, "Well, Maria, no, it's just you. You have this aloha spirit," and I think people respond to you. So I'm either way. I was just very grateful. Many people helped me in my life, in my personal life, as well as my career, and I'm so grateful for them, and really just helped me get better and better each day. My hair was definitely very different, just a little bit better
It's amazing how
these
that
days.
happens to us. Longer, shorter, lighter, darker,
Yes,
whatever it may be.
yeah,
It's just,
it was a lot bigger.
that's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
We did a little research and a little digging.
Uh-huh.
We actually
Uh-huh.
have, for those that aren't as familiar, and matter of fact, there have been people, our audience, they're all welcoming you, sending loving and prayers, Maria. That's
Thank
Kathleen in New
you.
York City. Anne, who's in Southern California, says, "Hello, everyone. I love watching Maria on Good Day LA." So
Yay.
that's love from Anne and SoCal. And Joan, sorry for your loss, Maria. Joan is watching, Joan Sando.
Thank you so
And
much.
also love coming from Jane in Sweden as well. Merlin can connect. She's in Ontario, Canada. She says, "I know what you
Mhm.
went through. My husband lived 27 months before passing with ALS."
I'm
So
so sorry.
yeah, she dealt with that as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so lots of love coming in. Alessandra, and she's in North Carolina. Juanita as well in South Africa. Sounds like your husband was a wonderful man, and sending love as well. Um, I have a clip of you doing your thing as only you can in LA at Fox LA. Here is a weather forecast with Maria in the studios, having a good time. And let's check that out. And then we'll be back with more with a very special guest, Maria QUIBAN. Here we go.
All right, let's talk about the weather out there because it's cold.
Yeah,
very, very cold.
We're finally getting a little taste of real winter, right? For us. I mean, this is a little bit below average, but yeah, you'll definitely need that jacket before you walk out that door. Maybe even some mittens or a beanie hat and a scarf, because we're talking about some windy, cold conditions from the north. All right, here's a live look outside. Notice the waves. This is on the island of Catalina, and that is indicative of that strong offshore flow. As you can see, those big waves rolling in. Look at the cold temperatures across the rest of the country. 26 for a high in Salt Lake City, 22 in Minneapolis, 35 in Chicago, and a big swath of moisture moving across the country's Midwest. 70 degrees in Atlanta, though, today, 78 in Miami. High pressure's in control of our weather. It's just offshore, providing us with that northeasterly wind. And these are some strong gusty winds yet again, those high wind warnings in effect. Here's our futurecast as we put it into motion. Look at how those winds are so strong from the high desert towards the coast in Malibu, Camarillo, nearly 25 mile per hour sustained winds. Same for the Lucerne Valley, Apple Valley area and Hesperia, all the way south into Laguna Beach, 20 to 25 mile per hour sustained winds. And then it backs off just slightly, but the winds are still going to be gusty through tomorrow morning. And then they really do start to relax by, I would say, tomorrow afternoon. Then it will warm up slightly Thursday into Friday. As far as rain, we need it. We have had very little. The month of January, we only got a third of an inch of rain, and we've had zero so far for February. And we almost get 4 inches of rain on average. We now have a deficit of 22/100ths of an inch of rain, so we need some rain. We need to catch up a little bit for the season. 3 to 5 foot sets for Ventura, LA, that offshore flow, keeping those waves nice for you surfers. 2 to 5 feet for the OC and San Diego. 60s today, low 60s, maybe even just upper 50s for the valleys and the Inland Empire. We will warm up slightly as those winds relax as well. Friday, Saturday, low 70s, and an opportunity for some rain, even some mountain snow Sunday night into Monday. We'll wait and see. 31 up into the mountains today and cold, windy as well. Into the deserts, 59. That's it in Palm Springs, maybe getting up to 78 by this upcoming Saturday. Let's check back with some.
Everybody there,
hilarious.
and I was going to say, everybody there probably wishes that those were the temperatures now.
We've had a heat wave over the last several days, but
Yeah.
but it's so funny. I can imagine people watching from Norway or you
Yeah.
know up into the higher latitudes going, "That's cold." We're such cold weather wimps here in Southern California. So
So you've been with KTTV how long now with the station?
you know, I just marked my 21 years in May. Yes, May this past year, 21
Congratulations.
years. Thank
Congratulations,
you.
not so easy in such a competitive industry. And obviously, the viewers love you and the station
Thank
respects your work. And, you're very talented, very good at what you do. And so kudos to you and congratulations on, a job well done and continuing to do that, Maria. Really, really beautiful. And, with anything in life, you have to have people around and you can't do it alone is really, really important, right? I mean, you have to have people around and you have that love and support, don't you?
I do. I'm so lucky from my school, my son's school, mommies and daddies that are my close friends to my work family, my own family, as well as my husband's family. We are all just always together in some way, and they so continue to support me today with their love and also just friendship and just caring for my son in a very special way. So I'm so fortunate that I have such a large group of people around me.
And that's the key. And anybody watching right now who, and they don't have to work in these industries where they're in the public eye, but anybody that is going through anything right now, and I love that you got this, and that is so important to remember, right? That you got this. Some of these things that happen, even the pandemic that we've gone through, there's a lot of teachable moments. We don't forget, we remember, we cherish, we savor, we have our moments, but it's these teachable moments and what we learn from them and pay forward to others that is so crucially important, right? The love, the kindness, the compassion.
Absolutely. I mean, this past year has been so challenging for all of us, and my heart goes out to the people who have actually lost loved ones to the coronavirus, and then just in general, losing someone during the last year and a half must have been just immensely difficult with the restrictions, just from not seeing anyone, and even the quarantining of everyone. And so I think the book, You Can't Do It Alone, will apply so much to everyone, particularly during this time. And so, part of the message of the book is about reaching out, about having a support system around you and assembling those people. I'm fortunate that I have such a large family, and in that way. But for some people who don't, there definitely is a support group out there. There is a village and community that you can reach out to, and we're so lucky that we have technology today to really help us do that. And look at how we're connecting, and that has continued to be my lifeline, really. Now things are opening up a little bit, but during the last year and a half, without this, I don't know. I don't know what I could have done, really.
Because you've been working a lot from home, right? You've had the technology and everything there, and doing the forecasts like a lot of all of us, working from the home. And you've had to sort of, put lighting in your living room and just move the chairs around and make do. And it's been extraordinary, right?
It's been such a learning experience. I mean, we've been able to do things that we never thought we could.
Right.
It's the whole paradigm of being able to work remotely has just shifted and changed everything, hasn't it?
Yes.
The idea that we could actually work from home. I used to joke about it. I don't know if you did, Jim, but I would, go into work and I would say, I can just do this from home. I have a green screen, I have some lights. Let me just do this at home, guys, and boom, this
Here
happened.
you are.
And apparently, yes, I can do it. I mean, it was like half joke at that time, but we can do so much more, actually, now than we thought we could have, pre-pandemic. So
Tell us about the incredible opportunity to share in the way that you have and continue to, Maria, with writing the book. What was that process like? What were those first sources of inspiration for you to say,
mhm,
what, because there might have been some hesitancy, maybe. Oh, should I really share this? How deep? How much should I really tell about the
mhm.
story? When did you decide, I want to put pen to paper? And not only do I want to, but I have to share this story with others.
It started really when Sean was first diagnosed. The two of us talked about this, and I think everyone must go through this kind of, questioning when they're facing a terminal disease like glioblastoma or cancer or anything that's tragic that's happened in your life. Like you talk about, why did God do this? Why did God allow this to happen? We ask those questions, Sean and I. We try to be good people. We go to church. We give of our time, and we really tried hard to be um, good people. And so we asked God, like, well, why? Why is this happening to us? What are we learning from this, and what can we do? And Sean and I talked about how I wear a microphone every single day. He was a writer by profession. He wrote for television drama, and we couldn't help but think, well, maybe part of our purpose and part of the reason why this is happening is because we need to do our part to shine a light on glioblastoma and brain cancer. We need to bring more awareness to this disease because apparently there hasn't been anything that has come forward in terms of even just treating a patient with comfort drugs to make them feel better, let alone a cure. There just hasn't been any advancement in this disease. And so we thought, well, okay, maybe you need to write something, Sean. Maybe we need to talk more about this. And so that's really how it came to be. Back then, early on in his diagnosis, we thought, okay, this is part of our purpose, so let's do it. And then, we went through all of his treatments, and he just he, sadly was not one of there's a very small percentage of people that actually live a lot longer. And I've heard of a couple, two, three, maybe in one hand, of people still surviving with this diagnosis. many of the people who are still around, though, have very, very great, how do you, they have deficits that prevent them from still doing what they were used to doing. So
Yeah.
when, when Sean died, I kind of forgot about it. And a year after his death, we were commemorating and marking his 1 year anniversary of not being here with us anymore. And one of his really, really good friends sent me a leather-bound book. And it was a book filled with all of the emails that I sent out to our family and friends. And when I was leafing through that book, I realized how much I had written. I didn't know it at the time that I had written so much, but that was my way of communicating what was going on with
We're
Sean,
journaling. Yeah.
and what was going on with, with our son and the household and things like that. And so that was a way for people to really get a good idea of what we were going through. And now in hindsight, it allowed people to see where they can help, what they could do based on some of those emails that I wrote. So by getting that book, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I have to fulfill that promise that Sean and I made to each other. And I had a difficult time in the beginning because I am not a writer by trade. You know what I do? I talk.
Yeah. Right.
I talk for a living.
Right.
And I don't even really write anything because as a
No.
meteorologist, we
Right.
ad lib everything.
Right.
And we talk over graphics and
I know how
things that
that
we build.
is.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I was very, very intimidated by the idea of writing. But I just remembered my promise to Sean and our promise together to each other. And I just said, I'm going to try and I'm going to do this. And I would have a conversation with Sean, which I still do, by the way. I still have a
Oh,
conversation with
sure.
him every day. And I asked him and I said, honey, you have to help me write this because I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. And so somehow I was able to put pen to paper and on my laptop was able to just write it basically one page at a time. And here we are. I had some help, of course, with
Yeah.
some editors and friends who proofread the manuscript. And so I think I'm really proud of what we have here. I'm so proud of it because I really think it will help so many people. And so many people have actually said it has helped them. And so whenever I hear that, whenever I get to talk about Sean, whenever I get to talk about the book and ways that our story can help others, it helps to heal my heart. And as you can imagine, my heart has been broken into a million pieces. And I just don't know, still to this day, it's been over 5.5 years since Sean died. And it sometimes feels like it's just 5 or 6 months. And so
Yeah. Right.
by
I know.
talking about this and
Yeah.
promoting this book, it helps to heal my heart.
And it's so beautiful. Yeah. It's as you're helping others heal, Maria, you're healing as well. And it's always
Myself.
that way in life. When the energy we put out, when it's positive and empathetic and compassionate and kind and loving, people respond to that and they cling to it. And as you are giving those positive vibes, those words of encouragement, it's coming back at you tenfold. And that's the beauty of things like this and the beauty of life, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, some of this I knew theoretically. I guess, I'm hoping that others can see through our story, at least that is indeed true. It is that I know for me, finding our purpose has helped me definitely heal and feel better as we move forward. Me and my son, our son now
Yeah.
is 10 years old, and so we talk about daddy almost every day. And Sean's 5 brothers, the wives of his brothers, my mother and father-in-law, our entire extended family have just been amazing to us and really has stepped in where it's needed for Gus and where Sean would want to be,
Yeah. And they obviously a very special relationship. How has Gus dealt with it as well?
From day one, I know Sean and I both believe so much in counseling and being able to talk with a therapist and a counselor about our feelings. And so immediately after his diagnosis, we went and sought counsel from a family therapist. And to this day, we talked to her, we talked to Betsy about everything, and so Gus has been really a part of that since he was 3 years old. And so, when he was 3, when you're that young, you don't really, I certainly as a parent didn't have the language to teach him about disease and terminal illness and cancer.
Right.
And so having someone help me find the language, help Sean, help both of us to understand what it was, first of all, and how it would affect our relationship, but also how to help our son and our family just deal with each day moving forward. It's so important, and I encourage everyone, no matter what your situation is in life, I think we all need counseling and therapy. That's the bottom line.
Right. And were you somebody who inherently would reach out for help when you needed it, or were you somebody who initially said, "Oh, I got this. I can do it. No worries." Because sometimes in our industries, that's what's required of us. Okay, don't worry. You go home. I'll take care of it. I'll do it. And in this case, were you somebody who immediately said, "I'll reach out," or
Oh,
were you
no.
tried to do it yourself? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think many of us, especially I think in our culture, we have this sort of can-do attitude, and I'll do it myself. I don't need anyone's help, and I've learned along the way that that's just not healthy. I think because not only should we ask for help when we need it, but I
Yeah.
think for others to be able to help you is so satisfying, gratifying, and fulfilling. And so why are we preventing other people from feeling that? Why are we not, why are we asking for help? Why aren't we being embracing of that? Because it's just a win-win situation, and I've learned that along the way. Yeah, absolutely.
We have some video as well of some of the process, Sean, in the MRI machine. What was, I would imagine there were certain elements of the scenario that were quite scary and nerve-wracking, and the unknown a little bit, and some of the
Mhm.
the treatment and what he had to go through and endure was something that nobody would have predicted, but I'm sure he was very strong and fought and did everything he could on his end. We have some video here, Sean, in the MRI machine. Tell us a little bit about some of his valiant fight, and you were right there along with the family by his side, which is a very beautiful thing, because we all need everybody by our side.
hmm it definitely is a true test when you get a diagnosis like
Yeah.
this on your circle, your family. But I have to say that it was all Sean. Like I said, Sean had a very special quality about him. He had a very strong moral compass. I think his faith was strong. We were both, I think one of the reasons why we were brought together is that, well, him particularly to me, he definitely helped me to be a better Christian, better Catholic, and he had a very strong faith and religion. And so, when you have that foundation, I don't think anything um, is truly impossible to endure or go through when you're thinking about wanting to be here for your loved ones and your family. He had a lot to live for. He had our son, he had me, he had his entire family, his brothers, his parents, and so he wanted to fight. He had a lot to live for, and we always followed his lead when it came to that. And so for him, he feared nothing really.
Yeah.
He didn't even he rarely complained through the
Yeah.
harrowing treatments that he had to go through. And he went through some of the toughest ones, even more than usual for someone with this disease. He had to go through radiation twice a day.
Mm.
Most people could only withstand that once a day, but
That's
he did
it.
it
Yeah.
twice a day. And to be in that machine where your head is locked in they literally lock you in. There's like a mask that they put over your face and it's locked into the table. Uh, I had an MRI again recently, and I just started crying in that machine because I could not even imagine how he felt every single day going through that twice a day. It was difficult for me, and he had to do that every day, twice a day, for a long period of time, and that happened twice because of the regrowth that occurred months later. Um, yeah, he was just an incredible person, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have some very special video actually that I think is where he's going into for the MRI, the scan, and we'll take a look at that and then continue. And yeah, I mean, you were right there by his side, which is so important. Let's take a look at that. Hmm.
I made some of those videos just to, again, to help our family understand what he had to go through, but I also tried to make it in a slightly more
Yeah,
lighthearted way.
yeah,
It's a fine balance trying to explain what you're going through, even for him, because we always wanted to be positive about what was happening for him, as well as being realistic about, what we were having to go through as well, and what we were seeing in the future. I have to
yeah,
say that I haven't talked about this yet, Jim, but besides my family and our friends and our therapist, I also came across the support group at UCLA, which is where Sean was treated. This support group was specifically for brain cancer caregivers. That's how um, that's how hard this is
oh
as a
yes,
caregiver, this kind of cancer. You've heard of support groups for just cancer in general, I think,
yeah,
for people who are caregiving others, but I don't know of one specific to that cancer,
no,
other than brain cancer. So just so you know that is it just must be so hard. And I remember, excuse me, seeing the flyers at the hospital at UCLA. And my only regret now is that I waited so long to actually go to one of the meetings, because once I went, I knew right away that I found my village.
yeah,
And without these people that I found, and it was really, I don't know, it was just meant to be. But I found six other people who were just a lifeline for me. And I had so many questions. It was such a terrifying beginning. Like I said, I had done this research and I barely could find anything really to talk about this disease in a way. And so without them, who were my lampposts, I don't know how much more terrifying it would have been for me. And it was already terrifying
there's
with the
already,
support
yeah.
that I had. Yeah, with the support I had with them, it was so scary. I could only imagine how much more scary it would have been without them.
I've interviewed a lot of people over the years professionally too, who are caregivers, and they are often the forgotten lot
Yeah.
because the stress, the strain, the worry, putting your life on hold, putting your needs aside, the financial burdens that happen, the not sleeping, the worrying, the not eating, all the things that a lot of caregivers go through, whether it's a situation like this with the glioblastoma or perhaps ALS, Alzheimer's, anything,
Yeah.
accidents that happen, caring for somebody. Um, a lot of times the caregivers also fall ill. Things
Yep.
happen as a result of the stress, the overwhelm, the fear of the loss if one happens. how were you able to still, and not that you were necessarily perfectly, but how were you able to still meander through caring for Sean and the outpouring of love and support, and still caring for Maria and some of the things that Maria needs, because Maria has, Gus, and
Mhm.
there's family, and there's and the station depends on you, and the viewers, and all these things that you have,
Mhm.
all these weights. How did you cope
Yeah.
with that, and how did you handle that?
Not very well, I have to be honest. I'm kind of an open book in this sense, and people would remind me, my counselor would remind me to take some time for myself, take those moments. And it was difficult for me to do that because I knew that time was precious with us, and I was willing to not get as much sleep, and it wasn't much to begin with, because I wanted to spend every moment I had with Sean and Gus. And so, my health did suffer a little bit, a lot actually, especially after he died. And I go over it a little bit in the book, and what happened, with me and my heart, literally, my heart and my lungs, and just getting sick. And even today, uh, I mentioned this when you and I first started talking earlier this afternoon. Um, the pandemic really did a number on so many of us, right? It was such a challenging year on so many levels, and it manifested in me. I know it manifests differently for each individual, but for me, uh, it went to my gut, and I discovered late last fall of 2020 that I had developed some digestive issues, and I had what the doctor called 8 to 10 ulcerations in my stomach, after not understanding what was going on with me and why I was not, every time I would eat, it felt like I had coals burning in my stomach. And so I think the stress of not just the pandemic, certainly, but of, the previous 5 years manifested in this way. And so I have to constantly remind myself to take time for myself, to, you know, uh, whether it was downloading the Calm app to meditate, or just even spending an hour or two with some friends. And, I still do that today. I have to remind myself that it's okay for me to take time for myself. And I'm actually going to do that this coming weekend. I'm going to just go away for the weekend
That's
and
right.
just be me, without the responsibilities of the home and our young son. And so I'm going to do that, and I have to put it in my calendar, and do those things. So uh, yeah,
And the
it's
station's
hard
been
to
very
do.
hard to do, right? Easier said than done, but man, when you do it,
Yeah.
it can be so rewarding. And we all need to reboot, refresh, reconnect. And
Agree.
boy, if this year has given us any pause and any opportunity to do that with the pandemic and all,
Mhm.
it's been a time to certainly do that. And when life throws curveballs our way, those are pivotal moments to stop and reflect and look. And then, there's next chapter thinking
Yeah.
that you have to really deal with. And when you are balancing home and family and career, and such a public career, sometimes you don't have the time to really look in the mirror and say, okay, who's Maria? Who's Maria now? And where's
Yeah.
Maria going? And what does Maria
Mhm.
want to do going forward?
Yeah.
And you
It's so
need
fun.
that.
Yeah, what's so funny is that because I'm on the air, people will notice when I'm not there. And if I literally am off. I think because of the pandemic, none of us went anywhere. So none of us took vacations, right? And so I remember recently, I think I took a Friday off and had a long weekend. And I think maybe a few weeks later, I took one day off because of my son's last day of school or something like that, or picture day. And people would immediately go, "You're off all the time. Why are you off all the time?" And I'm thinking, wow, I was off for one day, and I had been off in weeks and weeks. And so
I get that
it's
too.
just
Yeah.
funny. I
Yeah.
guess I'm flattered that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they miss me, but there is that component.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
like,
hysterical.
well, I do have some laundry built up that I got to take care of, and
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
car needs to get a wash
Like,
and wax, and yeah, I get that too. Like, Jim, what happened? Where'd you go? And
yeah, where'd you
that
go?
I guess it is a beautiful thing, because it means that you're inspiring people, and people feel they know you and they feel
Yeah.
connected. And we both are in these roles and our respective careers in the same industries that, you know, as we do the work we love and we give our all, and it almost looks easy and effortless to the home viewer, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and toil and craziness that goes on. You know, it was funny, like
Yeah.
even before we went live on this, you're plugging in lights and having to move chairs around. It's just
Yes.
all part of what it is, and to bring good product. But you know, oftentimes people don't get a chance to see that you know, you need a break every once in a while, and you'll be there and you'll be back and do your thing. And it's a beautiful thing when you hear from people that say, I really missed you. And, you know, you get, I've gotten letters over the years from shut-ins who say, oh boy, I never watch anything other than when you're on, or whatever it may be. And or somebody that comes up to you, and I know you've had this. I've had it when I have a baseball cap on, a 5 o'clock shadow, and I'm as casual as can be, and I'm at Home Depot and we're getting wood or whatever, and somebody's peeking around the corner and they're pushing their cart with the husband, and she's nudging the husband. She's like, is that, I think, Harry, is that? And I'll be waving, because you know, I'm very approachable, like you. I'm very approachable. Hi, yeah, come on over. No, are you? And it's a beautiful thing, because I was at a store once. I don't know if it was a Target or Target, whatever. And I was standing in line, and this woman in the other line was sort of peeking and like trying to figure out, is that Jeff? So she waves me over. And she's like, oh, I want to check you out. And she's saying it in front of the whole store. I want to check you out. And I'm like, excuse me, what?
Excuse me?
Check me out. No. I want you to come over to my line, and I want to be the one who scans your items, whatever they were, toothpaste or, you know, shaving cream. But I want to scan the items and package them for you, so I can go home and tell my family at dinner I scanned Jim Masters' items or something. That's so cute and beautiful and wonderful, isn't it?
That is, it's really great. It's so flattering, and I'm, you know, we're always so grateful when people do say hello and recognize us. I was appreciating the masks though for a time, because then that meant that I could just put the hat on, the glasses, and the mask, and not have to put any, you know, lipstick or whatever. So that part was
that was so sort of like, yeah, you can walk around, and they don't necessarily. Oh, there's Maria. There's like, Maria. It's going to rain tomorrow, or be sunny?
Yeah, I love those questions. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's amazing being a meteorologist, and a very successful and beloved one. You know, you're talking so much about silver linings, and when there's storms and rain clouds and rough weather, to look for the silver lining, to look for the sun, and the quote unquote sun will come out tomorrow. And for you, you've had to apply some of that weather jargon to yourself in your own life, right? Looking at and realizing the sun will come up tomorrow.
Absolutely. Listen, you know, Sean is not here, and it's devastating for all of us. But the silver lining is that we have our son. When I see Gus every day, I see Sean. And he looks a bit more like me, I think, than Daddy, but he is every bit 100% Sean's personality, and it's uncanny. You know, some of the things he says, his mannerisms, his love for basketball. It's all from his dad, and I'm so thankful that I have Gus. I'm so thankful that I've gained 5 new brothers. Their wives, they're some of my best friends now, and you know, Sean's parents. There's not a day really where I don't hear from one of them, and they will text, they will call, they will email, at least 1 or 2 of them every week, and I will see at least 1 or 2 of them every week, every weekend, and it's what a gift that was, you know, for me and for Gus and our whole family.
Absolutely. So beautifully said, Maria. We actually have a wonderful, quick little video here that we want to share with Sean and Gus. And this is the duck chasing Gus with Sean, which is really, really cute. let's take a look at that again. A wonderful bond and lots of love. And we all, there isn't anybody watching this right now who can't think of somebody in their own lives that maybe had an illness, or maybe they passed suddenly, and we're still dealing with that, and we're still working through it, and our lives have changed. So perhaps what Maria is sharing with us tonight, the chain of events might not be exact for you in your life, but however, you can connect with Maria, you can connect with our conversation and relate it to experiences that you've had, or that maybe you're going through yourself, or somebody you care about is going through. And you can see how somebody like Maria, through her love and her personality and the love of family and the support of the company she works for, Fox LA, KTTV, she's been surrounded by love and support. She's embraced it, and it's helped her through. And now she's telling her story and wants to lift other people up. And that's a glorious thing. It's legacy building. And I know you could never have imagined you'd be in this place doing this, but you are doing it very beautifully, Maria, and it's noticed and it's felt. And let's take a look at the duck chasing Gus. This is cute. Here we go. A bunch of them. Look.
Go. What are those?
Go.
What is it?
Go.
Slow down.
Don't go too fast.
Don't scare him. See other feathers? Some colorful feathers, and there are a lot of blue feathers. And their orange feet. See their feet? Their webbed feet. Hi. Hi, duckies.
That dog going to swimming pool.
They're going in the swimming. Look at their feet. See their feet? That helps them swim because they have their webbed feet. See? They're not like our feet. They're different. See those?
You're going in there.
Yes, they're going to go into the water and cool off. Uh-oh, look at these two guys. They're chasing each other. See their feet? See how their feet are different? Look at his feet. Look at his little webbed feet. That way he can swim better. Wow, this guy's coming right at us. Boy, look at his little beak.
Oh my goodness.
Look at it surrounded. Look at this guy. That's
Aw.
right.
I haven't seen that video in so long. It's so cute.
It really is. And everybody is saying that
Yeah.
you're such an inspiration. Maria from Kathleen in New York City, Alessandra in North Carolina, USA. You are so strong and inspirational. Renee in Iowa. So cute. And Alessandra says, very cute. We have another quick one here. And this is where I believe Gus has his mask on and he's with Sean. And Sean is, it looks like he's in the hospital bed, and Gus is visiting with him. We'll take a look at that as well.
What's your favorite show, Daddy, to watch? Which one? I can't hear you.
Oh, good.
Oh, gosh. Is that Daddy's favorite show? I don't know about that. Is that your favorite show, Daddy?
That's very beautiful. When was that video taken?
You know that I remember that video. That was already very close to the end. That was here at our home, and Sean was not able to speak really that much at that time. Maybe one word answers, but speech was very difficult for him then. You know, that's the thing with any brain disease. I think the hardest part for us to watch your loved one just have these deficits, and you're really kind of losing them, you know, every day. And it's very difficult. From other cancers, you know, generally you still have your brain. That's the essence of who you are. So I think that when you talk about ALS and glioblastoma in particular, you know, you're just witnessing it, and it's so difficult for us. The book that we wrote, I really do think it will help many people, because partly because Lauren, I didn't even talk about Lauren Schneider, who is a family therapist and social worker, and she really helped um, give an excerpt after each chapter, and she looks at what we did in certain situations and extrapolates from that and makes it universal for everyone to really see what we went through and apply it to their own lives. And so that's one of the reasons why this book, I think, is applicable for everyone, particularly during this time when we have to deal with this pandemic. And so I have to thank Lauren Schneider for helping me really make this book possible.
Were there moments where, when you were putting pen to paper, where you had to pause and stop? Did it get too deep, too emotional as you're sharing the experiences, sharing the love, sharing the story? Or were you able to just, were you determined to just keep going? I would imagine there probably were some moments where you had to say, I'm good for today, I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. 100% it was that way. It was very cathartic for me in writing this book. It took almost, I want to say, almost 3 years from beginning to end. It took a while, because it was difficult to go back in there. And I think part of the reason why there isn't much written about glioblastoma and brain cancer is that I think when people go through what we've all gone through as caregivers for someone suffering from this disease, it's difficult to go back. It is really traumatizing, and it's paralyzing for many people. And so I can understand why people don't want to talk about it after. I really can. It's difficult to go back. And I talk a little bit about that in the book, just seeing what was ahead of us when I got a preview of that, when I was with my support group, their spouses. It's interesting. It's uncanny, actually. The seven of us total, and I don't know how. Well, actually, the moniker, the Seven Samurai, is what we called ourselves, and somehow that name stuck, and it's in the book when I talk about how we got that. But I remember when Linda's husband passed away was in January of 2016, and we learned so much from her. And then it was was it Melissa? I can't remember now if it was Otto. So it was like one spouse after the other would pass away over the next couple of months. And then ending with me was Sean's passing in December. So it was really interesting how each one was just a lamppost for me during that time. And again, it was such a terrifying and the experience of it all can make you run away. And I know why. And that's why I wrote the book, because I want you to have this quick read to understand at least some of what you can do to help the situation, whether it's finding that silver lining, finding the way to, we were told by one doctor to live each day as if it was your last day. I mean, how many times have we heard that, right?
All the time.
It's like, live this day like it's your last. That's such a hypothetical that so many people couldn't even fathom. We couldn't even really at the time. And we were living our best lives at that time. I think we were living this very, we were very grateful to have had Gus. I had Gus when I was in my early 40s, and we had some difficulty conceiving him. And so we really did cherish each day as a couple and as a family. And then when this diagnosis came, we were angry. We were like most people. I was angry, and I still am, on many occasions, on many days. But we were actually able to find the joy in each day. We were able to get to that place of living each day as if it were a month, and living through the month as if it were a year. We were able to do those things, which was difficult to fathom at the time. In the book, like Sean and I wanted to punch that doctor in the face. Like, really? Like, how are we supposed to do that? How are we supposed to live today as if it was, a month, and find the joy of each day? How are we supposed to do that? But you know what? We got there, and we did. We got there, and there's so much to be thankful for. And to this day, I just can't tell you how much joy we were able to have during those 18 months.
Absolutely. And that's beautiful, beautiful that you were able to do that and realize it and appreciate it and give that gift to Sean, but give it to yourself and to Gus and to the family, all of you sharing in those precious moments, those precious feelings and emotions that I'm sure you call upon in your quiet moments now, then they get you through. I, when you were going through something like that, did you have moments where you questioned, you know, what you wanted to do going forward with your own life? You know, you couldn't have predicted any of this 10, 15, 20 years ago. Were there great pause as far as what do I want to do next? Life has changed, or did you already have an idea because you had that loving experience for those 18 months?
Um, you know, Gus is my first and foremost thought. Sean and I talked so much during those 18 months. And I got to say that we did get a gift in that way, that we knew what our timeline was. You know, most people don't know. Um, People die on the freeway on their way to work. I see this every day in what I do in the news. And so we were given this gift of time, and we made a lot of memories during that time. And I have to thank God for that, because, you know, we knew what our timeline was, or at least his. And so, you know, for some people, they don't know. So I'm grateful for the love that we shared, and we were able to tell our loved ones. You know, Sean died knowing that we all knew how much he loved us. He also died knowing how much we all loved him, and how many of us get to do that. You know, that's a rare thing. And so, what I was going to do after, you know, today I don't know exactly. I do know that he wants us to be happy. I know that he told us, all of us, that we need to keep going. We need to live our best lives, and I'm not going to let him down, Jim. We're not going to let him down. You know, it's hard to get out of bed sometimes. It was, but I think about Sean, and I think about how I'm not going to let him down. And so we try to live our best lives, and we are with people that we love. We make new memories, and we talked about what he saw for me in the future. And I didn't want to talk about it at the time, you know, but he said, I want you to meet someone. I want you to share the rest of your life with someone, because you're young, you're vibrant, and you know, these are some of the conversations we had. And I remember telling him, you know, well, no, if it was the other way around, I wouldn't want you to do
Right.
you know, I joked about it, and I said, I'm going to come and haunt you. And so but all joking aside, you know, that's what he wanted for us. And so that's what we do. That's what we do. We just keep moving forward, and we try to live our best lives for him and to honor him and his memory.
I would imagine there's also elements of yourself that have risen to the occasion that you've tapped into that maybe you didn't even, resilience, other areas that you didn't even realize if you were ever faced with something like this, you'd be able to call upon and bring,
Mhm.
let rise to the surface. What are a few things that you yourself, Maria, learned about Maria as a result of what you've gone through and have dealt with?
Wow. Yeah. And I do tell people this, that you learn and figure out that you are a lot stronger than you think you are. You know, you really are. And on those days where I would get up and think, I can't do this. This is impossible for me to do this. Um, but you do it because you love your family. You know, you do it because you love your friends, you love your job, you love it. and that's what keeps me going. And for people who are going to be faced with some difficulties, I just want you to know that you are stronger than you think you are. And when you surround and find that support group in your village, you're going to be even stronger. And you'll be able to go through whatever it is that you're going to be going through.
Some of our audience has actually been sharing some of that during our conversation. Anne in Florida and Wozniak says this had to be a difficult and emotional task for you. My husband has been gone for 18 years now. We lived with him having Guillain-Barré for 14 years. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. And, as beautiful as it can be, this is the result. And thank you for sharing that, Anne. She's one of our regular Lovity viewers. That ends up happening, right? People start sharing their stories and their experiences with you, even if it didn't involve, glioblastoma or brain cancer or anything related to that. Just the fact that you're open and sharing allows others to open and share in these ways. Kathleen in New York City just recently lost her mother to cancer, very close, and her father's already gone, and she's in New York. She said, "This really hit me. I'm getting your book. Bless you." Joan Sando, thanks for your experience interviewing with your guests. Thank you. I appreciate that. Maria, you're a blessing. God bless you and your son and your family. It triggers this beautiful outpouring in this community. We've sort of done that with this show anyway, Light, Love, Levity, and all the things we do on the show. But with the book and you're opening up in the way that you have, I'm sure you have a lot of people that open up their lives to you. And that's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. And I think each and every one of them, my TV viewer family, they because of technology and social media, it's not all bad. We talk about how bad it is, but it's also so very good. And in a way for us to stay in touch with other people and to surround ourselves with like-minded people and people who can be a source of support. So I really do thank all of my TV viewer family, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram and YouTube, and now TikTok even, which is a lot of fun. But I thank each one of them for being there for me, and just relating back to I think it was Mr. Wozniak. Also without our faith, I have to say that as Christians and as members of our Catholic Church here, without them and the support of our community at church, it also would have been much more difficult. So, without our faith, I think it would have been nearly impossible. But, Sean, I know, is in heaven. I know he is enjoying, and we will see him again. We will see him on the other side. And I think that was one of the last things I said to him before his heart stopped beating. And I said, "We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay, and we will see you on the other side."
Been through a similar experience with my Aunt Kitty. And I had driven down to New York, to Long Island, to be with her. And, it was like a 2-hour drive, and I was driving down nightly to be actually in the cancer ward. She had bone cancer, and very close relationship with her. And would actually spend, sometimes sleeping on the floor in the cancer ward with her. And she would ask me to press in her back because it would relieve the pain. And she would say, "Aunt Kitty's not beautiful anymore." And I'd be like, "Oh my God, you are incredibly beautiful inside and out, Aunt Kitty." And I was compelled to bring into the hospital photos of her at holiday time. I mean, where she was really beautiful and loving. She was very matriarchal and just a beautiful woman, very spiritual as well. And the light of the family in that way. And I felt compelled to have to bring in to show the nurses who she was prior to this person that's in room number 12 that gets this tray of food and this amount of morphine or whatever. And I remember the nurse coming up and the nurse saying, "Oh my God, I've never had anybody that is a family member visiting a relative bring in photos of the relative, having to show me, who's tasked with
Mhm.
having to do this, who this person is, not was, but is."
Is.
And it totally changed her. Now she became, um, Aunt Kitty. She became this human as opposed to just this person lying in the
Mhm.
bed who's dealing with bone cancer. And I do remember that when we were visiting her, and my father and mother were there, and my cousins and my sister, all of us were there. And she wasn't doing well, and she wasn't really responding. And but there was this Spanish kid in the next room who I think was about 32, and he
Uh-huh.
heard some of the sounds, she was making a little bit, different things like that. And it he actually came into the room, asked my cousin if he could call his church and have them
Oh,
come
wow.
in a van and do a ceremony around her. And my cousin
Mm.
Kathy said, "At this point, we'll take anything." He calls the church shows up, the hospital lets them in, they surround her, they speak
Yeah.
in tongues, and it's speak in Latin, and all of a sudden, obviously she didn't understand what they were saying, but she felt the love and the vibe, and she started
Mhm.
just making words, and her eyes started opening a little bit, and she was responding. And then after the family, we thanked him profusely. He went back in his room because he was also suffering with cancer himself at age
Oh
32.
gosh. Oh wow.
My parents said they would be back in the morning. My rest of the family left, and the only ones left at that point were my cousin, my sister, and myself. And
Mhm.
my cousin, like you were saying, my cousin kept telling my aunt, "It's okay. You can go to be with Jesus, to go to be with God. You can go to be with your parents." Her husband, my uncle who had passed, that it's okay. It's okay. Real quickly, we had to go out of the room because the nurse wanted to come in and change the bedding.
Mm.
And then we heard some sounds. The nurse had us
Ah.
run right
Mhm.
in. My
Right.
aunt, who had not been moving for like a week, was
Yeah.
elevated and looking
Wow.
directly at us and through us. And then they laid her down,
And she. Yeah.
and you could see the heart beating, you get the breaths.
Mhm.
One nurse that was a newer nurse was panicking. What do we do? Should we do? Should we do? What should we do? And the more seasoned nurse said, "There's nothing that we do at this point. There's nothing wrong with the heart. The heart is fine, but the cancer is spread, and that's the
Right.
situation." But
Yeah.
you have those moments, and being there for them, and loving them, and telling them it's okay. Um, you've done it, and it's powerful, and it's beautiful, and that will never leave you, Maria. And you're sharing your story in such an eloquent and beautiful way. People will remember this well beyond, the book, well beyond the
Right.
career at Fox 11. This will be
Oh,
something that will touch lives forever. And
thank you.
I really thank you for sharing the story. I know Gus is probably doing backflips, being very, very patient on the other side of the door. "Mom, I'd
I
like an ice cream
I
cone
know.
about now. Come on, Mom." You and Jim, you guys are talkers. You TV people. Put you guys
Time
together. And
goes by so quickly, doesn't it? I mean, I can't believe that we've been talking for this long. But
oh,
yes, I do have to. I
Gus,
think he's
good.
eating dinner, but at
He's earned at least an ice cream cone or two. Uh,
least two. Yeah.
Before we go, what do you hope, and you've shared some of it, but what do you hope people
Yeah.
are truly left with when they read this book, Maria?
I really hope that they will one understand, um, what happens when we pass. Maybe I want them to understand that not, there are silver linings. I think there are gifts when we are given such a devastating prognosis. There are gifts in there. And number three, I think I most want people to understand my late husband, Sean, and the love that he had for us and the love that we shared as a family. And I hope that that can be an inspiration for people, who have gone through loss, or maybe helping a relative or a loved one go through some of the harrowing effects of cancer. I hope that you can take away that something like this can bring you together, and can bring your love to a level that you didn't even think was possible, because that's where I was. We already had this very strong love, and I can't tell you how much stronger, and how much oops, my little microphone broke down. I can't tell you how much stronger our love grew, not just for each other, but for our family and our friends during that time. And I hope that people can take that as well after reading our book.
You can't do it alone. And that is so true. Maria, bless you. And thank you so very much for joining us on the show tonight. You were very, very inspiring, and we really appreciate all the time. And I wish you nothing but love and happiness and peace and contentment in your life and Gus's, and for your family. I wish you a brilliant continued career at Fox LA and Good Day LA. And if I'm out in Los Angeles on a television shoot, I would love to say hello and break bread and chat some more. That would be a blessing. I would love to do that.
You better do that. You better call me if you're on the West Coast. Yes,
I will.
yes.
I will, my friend. And I hope the show met whatever expectations that you had, and you enjoyed truly the time with me as much as I certainly have with you.
Oh, I hope you know that by talking about our story, Jim, helps to heal my heart. And I want you to know that you were part of that today. So thank you for doing that for me. Thank you so much.
The pleasure and honor was all mine, Maria. You take care, and you take care of that Gus. Gus, I said you can have an ice cream cone. I have to work it out with Mom, but Jim said you can have the ice cream cone. Take care, my friend. And thank you for all you do. And I'll tell the audience about the book and where they can get it and all. And you have a wonderful rest of your night. And again, continued blessings to you in every way possible.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye now.
Okay.
Is she not amazing? She really, as I said, I told you in the beginning, a beautiful spirit inside and out. She comes from great stock, and and that's where that comes from. And a very caring, loving person, and wanting to share because she wants to guide and mentor and help others. She's been through something that a lot of people, when they deal with something like this, not only can it be horrific and devastating and scary and all the rest, but it could stop you in your tracks. We've all had experiences, I'm sure, regardless of our age or background or anything, illness and lack of health and passings of loved ones and friends. As we've learned with COVID, life is short, life is precious. We talk about it a lot here on the Jim Masters Show Live. As much as we have a lot of fun and great guests from, the entertainment world and all the other cool things we do, sometimes we have a show like this, which sort of sets it all straight and reminds us what life is truly all about. It's our relationships, it's our caring, it's our heartfelt ways, it's allowing empathy and kindness and compassion to rise to the surface. As I've mentioned, and Maria and I talked about, in the career that she has on Fox LA, a great television station in LA, by the way. It's a very demanding field, and she's out there, and she's just, up at 3:30 in the morning, and she's doing her thing and putting on the smile and giving the weather and doing other features and inspiring people and giving them information about their day so they can get through their day. She does it all the time. She's been doing that for years. I mean, like 20 plus years at the station. She's in a position where she provides information and a service that helps people get through their day, plan their day. And now she's done it at a level that it goes even beyond, the temperature and the wind speed and whether the sun or the clouds are happening. She's doing it at a real deep level by sharing elements of herself with you and with me and everybody. So I think it's cool, isn't it? Isn't it cool when you have conversations like this? We said we'd chat for about an hour. We actually went an hour 20. Just let it roll, conversational. And she had a lot to say. I love to inspire, but I also like to I like to set a tone that is warm and welcoming for you, our audience, and also for our guests. I do this in my professional work in television radio. I love doing it here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Just creating an atmosphere where we all learn, where there's a sort of a safe zone, even if we're having fun with a guest from Broadway or Hollywood or a sports star, whatever it is, or I'm taking you on location, or we're just doing our host lovely pop-up show chats. I just really like to have conversations that, when we're left, when you watch this, if you binge watch this episode again, and I encourage you to watch this episode again, all the episodes, but this particular one, if you have a family member or even you are going through something that seems a little tough, a little rough, and perhaps, and it doesn't have to be, brain cancer, glioblastoma, it doesn't have to be that. It's just anything that's going on in your life or the life of somebody that you care about. Having conversations like this, and as Maria said, reminding you that you don't have to be alone and you really can't do it alone. You need to talk it out. You need to have the support of others. Even if you think, there's a lot of people who won't. I've never been I will raise my hand right now. I have never been one of the greatest people who has always raised their hand for help and always said, oh, I don't know how to do this. And, oh, I can't figure it out. Or I've never, and sometimes to my detriment, sometimes to my own detriment, that I said, I'll take care of it. I'll do it. I'll figure it out. When it would have been a heck of a lot easier and smoother and faster if I had just said, hey, I'm a little stuck here. Can you give us a hand with this? Instead of saying that, I will try to figure it out. You go home, or you don't worry, and I won't put the burden on you. I'll don't worry, not feeling so hot today, got a stomach ache or headache or whatever, but don't worry. I'll do what I have to do. You just go and take on your day. I have learned driving alone through Death Valley, that whole Death Valley story, that you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on others. And in this case with Maria, she has decided to open up in a really deep way. And you can see very visibly and audibly the love that she still has for Sean. She will always have that. The love she has for Gus, the support that she's had from the television station, the management, the crew, her colleagues, her on-air team, as well as the viewers too. The viewers, the folks who watch, who are there. I love that too when you have that. Because sometimes you're doing the task and then you hear from people you've never met and they're rooting for you. And then they open up about their lives. Many of you have done that on this show too. You've opened up about your own lives and you've shared that with me here on the show. And I think that's beautiful. Don't stop. I think it's a beautiful thing because it really helps you get through the day because you can't do it alone. The book is available on Amazon and other places where you can get books. It's, I think, a book that you'll probably want to read again and again and again. As Alessandra says, Sean will always be with Maria. Absolutely. Yeah, I've always been somebody who's had trouble asking for help. I have some family members that are like that too. They don't ask for help. They're always the ones who are running to give the help. But sometimes you have to ask. And in moments like what Maria shared with us this evening, you do need to ask for help. Not just because it makes things easier, but you have to take care of yourself. Here's the book. You Can't Do It Alone. A Widow's Journey Through Loss, Grief, and Life After. That's the important part, life after. Maria QUIBAN, the wonderful Maria QUIBAN WHITESELL. Cool stuff, gang. Really, really is. Again, there's the book. You see it on your screen. You can get it. She's also online as well. We thank her very, very much. If you missed any of the videos, any of the conversation, it's all available on our YouTube channel right here. And again, this particular picture, I know we showed a couple of times of all three. There's Gus and Sean and Maria. Some of the other photos that we showed earlier as well. And of course, you can't do it alone. So you've got to really, just share and celebrate life. Because as we know, it is precious. And as I've said here on the show, often everybody's welcome here, regardless of your background or what you may be going through. And we have a lot of fun times and levity. Tonight, a little bit more of a serious topic, but a very important one for all of us. So good stuff. Let's take a look at some of the comments before we get ready to wrap up. I do want to let you know we have an amazing week of guests coming up. Tomorrow, celebrated Hollywood caricaturist, animator, and illustrator extraordinaire Henry Lamar is with us live. Then on Wednesday, Hollywood legendary actress Joyce Bulifant is going to be with us. And she's got an incredible book, My 4 Hollywood Husbands. Movies, television, film, all of it. She has been in it all, and she's incredible. On Thursday, brilliant performer Sue Matsuski is going to be with us. She is extraordinary. Coming up on Saturday, David Osmond, who is the nephew of Donnie and Marie Osmond, is going to be with us. Yeah, we're really excited about that. Lots of music, lots of great conversation. He is the son of Alan Osmond, who, again, is the brother of Donnie and Marie and Jimmy Osmond and the whole Osmond clan. David Osmond is with us live on Saturday night, and many, many more guests. Mairead Healy, wonderful Irish singer and songwriter and performer, is going to be with us on Sunday. We're very excited about that as well. If you didn't see Ethan Slater last night, who was SpongeBob SquarePants on Broadway, he was with us. We had an awesome time with Ethan. And we thank once again Maria for joining us here and sharing her incredible story with us. We really, really appreciate it very, very much. As we appreciate all of you, reminding you that if you missed anything contained in this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live, guess what? Don't fret. Don't worry. All of it is available on our YouTube channel 24/7, 365. And be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give it some love. Subscribe. Let everybody know about our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Click the notification bell so you never miss any of the amazing content, whether you watch live or you watch later in the archives. Maybe you binge watch. A lot of people like to do that, and you like to watch our episodes later. However you do it, we thank you so very much for doing it. And drop a like on this video, this episode, and leave a comment on the YouTube channel. We would love that, gang. You guys are the best. Sherry Larson says, perfect timing. Just celebrated losing my 2 brothers who passed away a year apart. Sending you light, love, and levity as well. And lots of peace and blessing in your life, Sherry. Kathleen Walker says, wow, it's a good thing I had tissues nearby. This was inspirational. Thank you for having Maria here, Jim. The pleasure, all mine. Kathleen, you know how our show works every night, is, as I've said since we started 420 plus episodes ago, gang, with our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Old school way of doing it with a modern twist and vibe. And every episode is something unique. Every episode is something to inspire, entertain, educate, and something different. And I'm glad that it touched you tonight. Kathleen in New York and Renee in Iowa, where Sean originally hailed from. You may remember Maria saying that. Sean came from Iowa. Really needed this tonight, since been thinking more about my mom today, since my birthday is tomorrow. Miss her so much. Sending love and light your way. And Renee, if you're with us tomorrow, we will wish you a happy birthday tomorrow. We will be here at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Here's a pre-happy birthday for you. Alessandra says she is amazing. I agree. Merlin in Ontario, Canada, she shared about her life tonight as well. Thank you, Maria. God bless you. And Gus, I agree. Alessandra says, thank you so much, Maria. Merlin says, my husband choice the day he wanted to die, so the kids visit him, but he changed his mind to a day when they couldn't come. People do that. And some people, when there's a holiday or a birthday coming up, they, as miraculous as it seems, sometimes they have the ability to wait until that time passes and then slip away, from there. Thank you, Maria. God bless you. Kathleen Walker. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Maria, for sharing this with us. Maureen, who, as we know, works in the medical field in Arizona, says, being with a dying patient and their family is both the worst part of nursing, but also the best part of nursing. It's a very humbling experience. Absolutely. And I've been there for some relatives who have passed, and I've been there for the last breath, been there for the last moments, holding hands, rubbing hands, doing eulogies. Blessing and a curse for some, because, it's a real responsibility and can overwhelm, but a blessing in the end. A blessing in the end. Renee says, God just before he took his last breath. Joan says, what a wonderful show. Thank you both. The pleasure is all mine. And Renee says, we told my father-in-law who had cancer that it was okay to go be with God just before he took his last breath. That is beautiful. Juanita says, this was a lovely conversation, Maria. You're a strong woman and an amazing mom. Thank you for sharing your experience and having the courage to put it into a book in order to help others. I agree, Juanita, in South Africa. I have no words for how much I admire your strength and courage in sharing your very personal journey and for all the support and hope that you give so many through your book. God bless you and Gus. I'm going to be sharing also more of things like that with you with another series that we're starting here on our YouTube channel. It's coming soon. I will let you know about it, but it's more in line with some of what we're talking about tonight, inspiration and things of that nature. So stay tuned for that, gang. I know we do it on the Jim Master Show Live, but we have some cool things that are planned on the show here and on our channel. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. This has been a wonderful show tonight. Thank you, Austin Field. I appreciate that very, very much. And you guys have been expressing some beautiful things along the way with each other. Don't forget to share the lovely and tell everybody about our show. As much as we say subscribe to the YouTube channel, tell others. Spread the word about our incredible place that we have created here, this unique show, which is kind of cool. Maureen says, what a humbling conversation. The strength and courage that Maria displays is very inspiring. I agree. And Jane in Sweden, thank you for being with us so late into the night there in Sweden. Wonderful show, Jim. Thank you. A good night to you as well. All right, gang, we're going to wrap up. Love you all. And again, amazing guests coming up. We always have a good time. Sometimes the whole show is music. Sometimes it's comedy. Sometimes it is whatever it is. Just knowing the fact that you guys are here and you're getting something, you're here and you're getting something from this every night is a true blessing. I started this show, 420 episodes, not knowing where it would go, brought in the television lights, we built the set, combined it with my already busy schedule in television, radio. And some people said, you can only do this show during the pandemic, Jim, JMS Live. And I said, well, we'll see how long we go. As long as you guys are there and you're getting something from this experience, we'll be here doing it for you. So, and every once in a while, we will take a day or two off. Maria was talking about that. I thought that was so cool. We related how she said, sometimes if she takes a day off from being on the air on the television station, people will say, boy, you took so much time off, and maybe it was only 3 days. I get that too sometimes, not just with this show, but if I'm not on like a day or two because we have a family event or we are climbing the summit of Mount Washington, 6,288 feet in the air, or we're just tired, or we have I have another gig going on in the industry, and we take a day. You guys are fun. You're so open about missing the show and missing me, and I miss you guys as well. So Beautiful stuff tonight, right, gang? Beautiful stuff. Thanks for being with us. One more comment we'll check out here. And Sherry Larson. Thank you, Jim. Wonderful show as always. Thank you, Sherry. Spread the word about our show. I really appreciate that. Have a wonderful night, Jim. Sending lots of lovity. Good night, all. Hugs. You too, Kathleen. I know this particular show meant a lot to you as well. So sending you lots of light and love as well. Gang, we toast you. We thank you. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Jim Masters TV. We have a Facebook group for this show as well, JMS Live Levity Hall. And we'll be back tomorrow. Sending tight hugs to everyone. There you go. There's a lovely hug. More, and have a great tomorrow from Maureen in Arizona and Renee in wonderful Renee Oscom in Iowa. Thank you, Jim, and all. Have a great night to you as well, Renee. Good to see you here. And all of you who are watching this later, you're not part of our live audience. You're watching this later in the archives. We thank you very much for being with us too. And we hope this and all the episodes of our show put a smile on your face and entertain you and inspire you. And we always say, don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the lovity, gang. We always say that. Don't forget to find the Zen place. Mine, of course, loving family and friends and quality time with them is always paramount. I love cycling. I love tennis. I love writing. I love music. And swimming in the ocean, swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing, floating in it. I am an ocean person growing up here on the East Coast in the Northeast, always near the ocean. And we are just a couple of blocks from the ocean as I speak to you right now. So I love the ocean, a Zen place for me. Also, my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years, also very Zen for me. I love that work. I'm in the zone when I'm doing this kind of work. So that is another Zen place. And I get to share and communicate just like Maria does when she's doing her thing as well. So find your Zen place. Get all the episodes of the Jim Masters Show live are available 24/7, 365 on our YouTube channel. And we encourage and welcome you to check that out. Okay, gang? Another comment slipped in. Isigari, watching in Barcelona, Spain, just in time. Good night, Jim. Good night, Issy. We love you there watching in beautiful Barcelona, one place I haven't been to. Been to Europe, but not to Barcelona yet. We've got to get ourselves to Barcelona. We are talking about the Lovity Cruise. We are actually talking about it in our JMS Live Lovity Hall group. So keep abreast to that. And we're going to mention it more. We're talking about possibly going to Bermuda next year, which would be cool. And Alessandra says, good night, Jim. Thanks for the show tonight. My pleasure. And a pre-happy birthday to our lovely viewer and friend, Renee. And thank you for being with us. We always have long goodbyes, right? That's why we don't say goodbye. We say, we'll see you later. We'll see you later. Back tomorrow night, summer hours, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. If you're with us, thank you. We'll see you then. If you're not, you can always catch all these episodes in the archives at Jim Masters TV. Good night, gang. We love you all. Take care and be well. Keep smiling. And remember, you can't do it alone. We love you. Have a good night. Thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show live. Be well and take care.